afternoon. It's a good afternoon. And thank you for tuning in to watch our show today. We would like to talk about buying land in Kenya. Specifically, we are talking about hidden costs. Have you been affected by hidden costs, not just when you're buying land, maybe even when you are accessing products and services from other companies as well? Remember when telecommunication companies started operating a country in Kenya many years ago, almost 20 years ago. So we had Safaricom, we had Kensel by that time. And one of the things I remember, Safaricom came after Kensel, at over two Kensel. And one of the pain points at that point, Kensel had hidden charges, I remember. Those were some of the customer complaints they used to receive. So when Safaricom came, they decided to do that. You make a call and you don't know, it will be charged more. It is 33 shillings per minute. You're now paying 50 because of hidden charges. That's just an example. I remember I had those two lines. But now we are here in real estate. We'd like to talk about hidden charges in real estate no one will ever tell you about. And there are quite a number. Many people buy properties, and we'll give a story about Jane. Jane is a friend and also an investor. Welcome to real estate in Kenya. This is Reuben Kimani. I'm the CEO of Username Investment Limited. We are broadcasting this live from Username Investment headquarters at Lemark Towers in Westlands. What are hidden costs? These are basically expenses that are unforeseen when you are making a land purchase. You see the advertisement that you go on in our media, in TV, on radio in the morning, on social media right now. You see a property going for 1 million shillings. The other costs that you may incur that you don't know about. But one thing I would like to assure you from Username Investment Limited, we cover all the costs. We will tell you it is all inclusive. All the costs are covered. Legal fees, stamp duty, all the taxes, transport, and any other thing. So if you see 599,000, the product we are selling in Nakuru at the moment, Havana Estate in Nakuru, just 15 kilometers away from the Nakuru city. 599,000 is everything that you'll ever pay Username, including the transport. So our products, just like the story I've given you about communication providers, many years ago, we realized there's a pain point in the market, and we ensure that all our prices are all inclusive, including the borehole that we will dig in some of those projects. That is Username Investment Limited. Basically, we reduce your pain points. We offer first-class customer experience. Just as a by the way, let's go back to our story about Jane, my friend. Jane had an advert, just like many of you have bought properties with us, with other real estate company in the morning. She had these plots that were going for 800,000, somewhere very prime. And she decided she wanted to buy. She's one of the aggressive investors. We have aggressive section of Kenyans who really buy properties in this country and do other investment. That's a good characteristic, and we really want to appreciate these investors. So she wanted to invest, and like most Kenyans, you don't have access to 800,000 in the bank just like that. You don't have that money. Even you yourself, you may not have that money in the account at the moment. She went to her circle, and she successfully was able to apply and get the loan facility. So she paid 800,000 to this organization, this company, land company that was selling, and then she kept quiet. A few months later, she was shocked to be told, as she was following the title deed, the title deed is not ready because there are some costs, some charges she has not, some money she has not paid. She was very shocked and very disappointed because I think the company did not communicate to them, because the only thing she saw was 800,000. So she was asked to add 50,000 for title processing, 30,000 for the lawyer fees. The amount eventually came to 100,000. So a plot that was going for 800 eventually went for 900,000. Those are some of the frustration most of you are feeling. Have you gone through this kind of stuff? Have you gone through this kind of frustration and challenges? Maybe you can tell us in the comment section down there. Have you bought properties only to be called a few months later that please add 25,000, we are meeting so that you can produce your title deed, please add so that you can make the roads, please add this, add this, add this. And by the time you receive your title deed, you are very frustrated many years later. You can tell us in the comment section, but in username investment, like I said, we don't do that. We came, we realized that is a pain point, and we decided to change that. And I can see many other players in the real estate space are doing the same. This is an innovation. We ensure everything is covered as you buy. What are these hidden costs? I'm going to give you 10 so that you are well aware. Should you buy from an individual, most individuals will not cover all the cost, but should you buy from an entity or an organization that is not covering the other cost? What are these costs so that you are aware? And how much would they cover? Should you buy, say, a property for $500,000, how much more would you be expected to add so that we give you a clear picture? As you take loans, as you borrow money, as you get money from your bank account, you need to know exactly how much it will cost you by the time you get your title deed or by the time you are ready to build on that property. Number one is stamp duty. I think this is obvious. Most people know that you have to pay tax. Stamp duty is basically paid to the government. This is a government tax on transfer of properties. It's usually 2% for agricultural properties outside the municipalities or cities or towns, and 4% if it's within the municipality. Of course, the government keep changing these physical planning laws and stuff like that. You'll find some places are 4%, like if you buy in Nairobi County, is 4%. 4% of a property going for $1 million shillings, that's like 40,000 shillings. It's good for you to know that you'll be able to add that money when you are transacting. For those who have been able to buy houses, I think this is very obvious, this is very common, especially even that space, bought houses somewhere and the costs that were not mentioned were very high. You need to factor that. If you're buying a property worth 5 million, just know that you might spend another 1 million because of legal fees, transactional fee, and many other things. Number one is stamp duty. Number two is legal fees. This amount payable to the lawyer. If you are planning for it, plan for between 1 to 2%. The Advocate Remuneration Act has a minimum payment from this is 35,000. Of course, we have lawyers who are entrepreneurs. You don't have to follow this. You can negotiate this amount. We do negotiate ourselves. Don't accept everything you are told as a buyer. These are tips I'm giving you. This is a market where you can be able to negotiate these fees. The lawyer will be able to tell you, depending on the business you are handling and how much business you are able to give them. Plan for 1 to 2% legal fees. Basically, the lawyer is supposed to make an agreement for you, check all the risks that are involved in the sale. That's why we keep telling you, look for lawyers all over. And of course, draft a transfer form. It all depends with the scope of work that you have been able to give this lawyer. So factor legal fees. Number two is registration fees paid to the land registry for the purposes of doing an entry. An entry is basically registering that you have started the process, and also the printing charges. This is not a lot. It's between 500. It's 500 for attestation, for registration, and 1,000 for attestation. That is like 1,500 shillings. This is if you are doing the transfer yourself. It's good for you to know that you incur this cost in the land registry. Number four is rates and rents. This is basically for leasehold properties. I would say all our pieces of property are freehold, so you don't have to pay this. But if you are buying a property in a municipality or in a county like Nairobi, where it's a city, or in Nakuru city within a municipality, our properties are freehold, the one we are selling in Nakuru. If you are buying that, know that there are land rates and rent that are applicable. You have to check. You can do a search for you to be able to know how much they have accumulated. When you're buying a leasehold property, one of the things to check is how much money has accumulated as a result of rates and rents over the years. There are people who have not been paying. You might find a property, for example, in Westlands, they have not been paid over the years, and the amount is a lot. So you have to be aware about this when you are buying properties. You can buy a property at 10 million shillings, only to find that there's 3 million that you need to pay for rates, which have not been paid since 1986. The amount is usually very small per year, but the amount keeps accumulating in some jurisdiction. Some municipality keeps changing. Check that if the property is leasehold. That is the key. If it's freehold, this is not a concern. There's also consent for transfer number 5. This is usually a irrevocable written permission by the relevant authority, the proprietor or the owner or manager or any other interested party. This is basically given by the Land Control Board, or the transfer or the lesser or such stuff like that, and it will cost you 1,000 shillings. But from my experience, of course, most of the time you don't have time to go to the lands registry. Some of them will demand that you must be there in person. Sometimes you can be able to use a lawyer and stuff like that. Things are changing. I remember at some point they were dispersing those boards. Those laws are changing by the time, but the charges are usually 1,000. But you might pay more because you are using a lawyer to help you in the process. So sometimes you might find yourself paying 5,000, 10,000, depending on the registry, because you are procuring a lawyer to take you through the process. The amount payable to the lands registry is just 1,000 shillings. That is important information for you to be able to know. We also have valuation cost. This is also another cost you need to be aware about. Valuation is basically analyzing the property to know the value. For the purposes of taxes, of course, you do valuation so that you can know how much stamp duty you have to pay. The government has valuers. Recently, they enlisted the help of private valuers to make the process fast. That report they produce, the government valuer will produce a report to know the amount payable to Kenya Revenue Authority. If it's 2% of the value they have given, and for this service, you'll pay 1,000 for municipal plots and 500 for plots in urban areas and stuff like that. Of course, that is the amount you pay to the government. It's a small amount, but it is important for you to be aware about. I don't know how much the private valuers are charging at the moment. They might charge a much higher cost because of the process, but they make the process much faster. Number 7 is the plot deposit. It looks obvious that when you hear we are selling properties in username investment, and we are asking you for a deposit of 10%. For Havana Estate in Nakuru, which is 599,000 for cash buyers, the plots are going very fast. The amount is 60,000, or basically 59,999, 60,000 shillings. What people don't know, for us, the amount is inclusive. Like we said, we are an innovative organization. Our first-class customer experience charter requires us to have all the costs included in the price that we give you. So the 10% is inclusive. So you pay 60,000, the remaining is 540. But this is not obvious in the market. It's not obvious for all the companies that are selling you land out there. You need to be careful, you need to be keen, you need to check. So the question to us, the 10% and the 20% deposit the company is asking for, or even the 20,000 they ask for, is it inclusive in the final price? For some companies, it is not. Please check that because it's a lot of money. If the plot is 800,000 or 600 or 599, 60,000 is a lot of money. Is this included in the total amount, or you have to add the plot is 600, you buy a 600 and you already have paid a deposit, which means it's a lot. The number 8 is title deed search, very important. In some registers, I remember this will cost you 500 shillings, but of course there's a point at which the government said it was free of charge. So it's important for you to know. But most Kenyans will use a lawyer for that, and that's where you'll have to pay some money. Some of them might even charge you 5,000, the lawyers who is helping handle the process, because you may not have time to go to Nanyuki registry to follow up with it. So they might charge you more. But initially, this amount was 500 payable to the Ministry of Lands. Number 9, value additions. Username is known for three very important things. Number one is affordability. We sell very affordable pieces of property, 100 to 800,000 for 99% of our projects. We are also known for, username is also known for first-class customer experience. We work with the customers through the journey. And this also includes trust. Trust is very important to us. It's something we call a tradition of trust. We ensure that what we do with the money that you give to us, there's value for it. And we also deliver on our promise. And the third thing is value additions. If you look at all our projects, we ensure we fence, we grade the roads, and we do all those things at the same cost. If you go out there, many other players might do the same, but at very significant cost. A plot going for $500,000, the one we are selling in Nakuru, might go for 1.2 million because of the value addition. But we ensure we work with economies of scale, we work with all the innovations we can get. We are intelligent people. We are a very powerful A+ team, and ensure we deliver that at the same cost. Very difficult mathematics, but we work very hard to deliver that. So we are also known for value additions. So for some organization, these value additions are not included in the cost. In the story of Jane that I gave at the beginning, she bought at 800,000. It did not include the title processing, the legal fees and stuff like that. So she was to add that. Most likely, if they were fencing the property, if they were grading the roads, if they are doing a borehole, they'll have to ask her for more money. In username investment, you don't do that. If you are doing a borehole in a project, because not all the projects are boreholes, we are going to ensure it is included in the cost. So you need to check where the value additions, namely doing a fence, grading the roads, maramming those roads, doing a gate, planting trees. You are planting trees in Havana Estate, in Nakuru. If you come after 3 years, it will be unrecognizable. Please become part of that estate. Including borehole, electricity, and stuff like that, you need to be checked with the seller, the company, the person selling to you, the entity, whether it is included in the price. One of the things about these values, they are very expensive. You have to do a borehole for it to be operational. By the time you do a water tower, you do a powering, and many, it might cost the organization 6 million shillings, which is a lot of money. We previously, like 3 weeks ago, we did a borehole in one of our projects called Gong Blossom. We are powering that borehole at the moment. We're equipping the borehole at the moment, and we will do so many more. And it is inclusive. Those customers bought those properties for 359,000. 3 or 4 years ago. They have built so many houses. You can imagine at that cost, including a borehole. We do that. We ensure we think outside the box or without the box to deliver that within the same cost. The last cost the last hidden cost that you may need to be aware about is logistics. This looks very obvious. Companies offer, like there are companies that are selling land in the coast, in Malindi, for example. Is the 100,000 they are selling that project, or in Mombasa, or far off, if you're in the Nairobi city, far off places, like maybe in the Western province and stuff, like in Kakamega or Kisumu. Does that price include the flight they are offering you? Does it include the bus fare? In username investment, the prices is all inclusive. If you want to come and check our pieces of property, we welcome you every Wednesday and Saturday. Please come and watch them. They are very beautiful. They are very strategic. They are very value added. Please come and check them. The price is all inclusive. The logistics, check if the amount is covered. You may be surprised. You come for a site visit, they need 1,000 from you. If you are going to Mombasa, maybe they need 10,000 from you, and you don't have that kind of money. It's good to be aware about that cost. I'll be recapping very fast for you. Number one is stamp duty. Number two is legal fees. Number three is registration fees at the lands office. Rates, and number four is rates and land rent for leasehold properties. Consent to transfer or consent of transfer. Number five, valuation cost, to know the value of the land for payment of tax and for selling purposes. The plot deposit, 10 or 20% that we keep telling you about. The title deed search. Number nine, the value additions. very important. The last thing is the logistics cost. I believe this information is important for the buyers of land in this country. Kenyans are very excited about the real estate market, something that is very powerful. The investment, there are so many Kenyans that are trying to build land today. The government is pushing the affordable housing every day, and they are building houses every day, which is very good, and stuff like that. And I believe you'll be able to have and use this information properly. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, and follow us on Twitter as well. Engage us, comment, ask questions. We'll be able to answer you. Welcome to Username Investment as well. Sample what we have. My name is Reuben. See you next time in such a show like this one. God bless you.